that women, black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we're your girls. Won't you know that we love you?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Listen up, y'all, cause this is it. The beat that I'm banging is delicious.
Burgerlicious definition, make them boys go loco. They want my treasures so they get their pleasures from my photo. You can see me, you can't squeeze me. I ain't easy, I ain't sleazy. I got reasons why I tease them. Boys just come and go like seasons. Burgerlicious, so delicious. But I ain't promiscuous, and if you were suspicious, all that is fictitious. I blow kisses. That puts them boys on rock, and they be lining down the block just to watch what I got. So delicious. It's hot, it's so delicious. I put them boys on rock, it's so delicious. They want a taste of what I got. I'm burgerlicious. Tasty.
Welcome in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And tonight, doing something a little different for Women's History Month. This is not just a Jill takeover, this is a sports takeover. But not the stiff box score and boredom type. We're talking money, momentum, power moves, and what all of it says about who the culture is really betting on right now. But before we get into that, let's talk about the celebration of Women's History Month and the total takeover that is continuing tonight on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got some great hosts to take us the rest of the way, including Tasha Thomas, Angelique Francis, Dr. Melina Abdullah, and a special rebroadcast later this evening of our annual State of Black Women in LA symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima. It was recorded earlier this morning. I was in the building. It's fantastic. You don't want to miss that. And listen, while we're talking amazing and fantastic, what about that last hour with Dr. Shalonda Crawford and Faith Evans? Okay, but we are not done yet. We aren't. To that vibe. Now you know that sound. That's Guapale. And Guapale will be live in studio at 7 p.m. as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of her classic debut album, Closer. So as you can see, it's going to be a great night as we continue our celebration of Women's History Month with the voices of women all day, all night. Now, of course, before we get into the details of tonight's show, of course, you know I start the night off with a couple of conversation starters. First up, happy birthday to Fergie and Mariah Carey. You can't talk about. And remember, Andy, we've been having this conversation over the last course of the few days about how a great deal of the divas happen to be Aries. And Mariah is the diva of all divas. All right, so listen. Tonight, we are getting into the WNBA entering a new media era. We know that they just signed a new contract, and we're going to get into the details of what that means as far as social status, pay, where we're headed in the future as far as women's sports. We're also going to get into JuJu Watkins moves because if you weren't aware, the USC standout has a new sneaker coming out with Nike. All that before she even cashes a WNBA check. And we're going to get into her climb, her brand, and again, what that looks like for the future of women's sports. And because we are 8 days away, Well, no, we're 8 games away from the NBA playoffs. We've got to talk about the Lakers' playoff push and what it looks like with Luka and LeBron in this era. It looks like it's working right now, right? So we're going to get into that, plus a little NBA expansion. And because I'm me, of course, I have some, off the court life updates for you on Paul Pierce and Von Miller. And I have a guest tonight. She is an Olympics.com reporter and producer who covers the NBA, the WNBA, track and field. She's also the founder of the LA-based media company, LOJO Media, and her resume includes stints at ESPN, Fox Sports, Snapchat, and Spring Hill. Oh, and did I mention she's a Leimert Park native and a USC journalism grad? We'll be talking with Lauren Jones shortly. But, in the meantime, get ready, get your snacks, get a libation or two. It's Friday, and when we come forward, we're going to get into all of these sports topics.
And I know I'm coming off just a little bit conceited, and I keep on repeating how the boys want to eat it, but I'm trying to tell that I can't be treated like clientele, cause they say she delicious. But I ain't promiscuous, and if you were suspicious, all that is fictitious. I blow kisses.
It's a total takeover. Women leading the conversation all day, all night. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Light a candle, pour some wine. Grab a roll, the soft kind for a little me time. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear. Wavy edges for my rear. So let the softness caress your soul. Just relax, you're on a roll. Let her rip. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear.
Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has the same softness you love, now with wavy edges that tear better than the leading one-ply brand. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. One important note, this is sports news tonight, so we got to be, on point with the theme. Now listen, if at any point you want to join the conversation, 800-920-1580, that's the number that you can dial, or hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere, or even better, get the visual to go along with this audio experience. Hop into the YouTube chat. Shout out to the VIPs. That's our community in there. The conversation is always exciting. Now, this is a special day. So for a special day, I brought in a special guest. Joining me tonight is Lauren Jones. I mentioned an LA native. You know when I love to connect with the LA girlies. That warms my heart. Lauren is an Olympics.com reporter and producer. She covers the NBA, WNBA, track and field. She's also the founder of her own LA-based media company, LOJO Media. Yes. As mentioned earlier, her resume includes stints with ESPN, Fox Sports, Snapchat, Spring Hill. Yes, that's LeBron James' company. All right, and she's a Leimert Park native, USC journalism grad. Please welcome to the show, Lauren Jones.
Oh, thank you so much, Jill. Wow, it's so amazing to be here. I'm so excited.
I am too. Listen, we go back. We, Insecure Season 3 is when we met. We were on a set visit. Mm-hmm. And so,
Right around these parts.
Right around these parts, right here. And a lot has changed in the area. And a lot has changed in our sports landscape, really, since then.
Absolutely.
So I want to ask you, you cover all the sports I just mentioned. Mm-hmm. What do you think people still miss about the way women's sports are growing as a business, not just a feel-good story?
Well, I think that there are so many storylines within, the CBA that just happened, right? There's so many great moments where you're getting this intersection of the old school versus the new school, but it's really one collective. I've had an opportunity to cover Team USA recently with the Olympics, and they had a few camps. They had the World Cup qualifiers that just passed, and talking to some of the stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Paige Beckers, they just give so much reverence to the Asia Wilsons and the Chelsea Grays, and so women that are decorated in both the Olympics stage and arena, but also on the WNBA stage. And so to see them kind of collectively come together with Nneka Ogwumike at the helm to get this CBA done, in time for the season, and to not have a lockout and to be able to get them paid, was such a beautiful moment to see, and to see how really inquisitive the younger generation is on how this is going to impact them, wanting to be involved, but wanting to be a sponge for them as they, are going to be the next ones taking over and being the ones to show kind of, what women's sports can be long term.
So I love that. That's so important because it's growing. When you look at the WNBA's new media rights era, mm-hmm. What stands out to you the most? The money, the visibility, or the fact that the league now has multiple serious partners and they actually have a product that can stand up to those partners?
I think the visibility is probably the key, because if you don't have the access to these games, if people don't know where to find them, then that has been, I think, a barrier to entry for a lot of the growth of the game, especially on the W side. We've seen Unrivaled become this new league in its second year, have some record numbers in terms of attendance, in terms of media rights, and in terms of setting the tone for getting these women paid and not having to go overseas. So I think in kind, when you see how basically the W kind of somewhat followed that mold, but on a larger scale, to be able to set the tone for the CBA and talking about the television rights, I think it's so important. I remember talking to Caitlin Clark not too long ago before the World Cup, and she was saying to have it on TNT, where you're going to have visibility and people know that it's not just on YouTube, where you have to find some kind of stream that you can actually see it on television, on prime time, is so important for the women to be able to continue to grow the game, and for young people, young kids, to be able to see, hey, this is where we can see and feel like we're a part of the game, no matter at what level it is. So I think the visibility is most important, but obviously the money is definitely, get paid,
right.
Get paid.
It's time.
It's important, yes.
So speaking of visibility, we know that part of this resurgence came Asia Wilson inside the W. Outside along those same storylines happening was the rise of Angel and Caitlin. So coming up next, right, at your alma mater.
Come on.
Shout out to Sierra Canyon, JuJu Watkins. Right? We can't wait for her to come out.
Please be a spark.
Please be a spark.
Please be a spark.
Needed. If ever there was a case of women needing to come out early, she would be it. But we understand why she's staying.
Get your money, girl. And NILs, yes.
Exactly. So that's what I want to ask you about. She has a Nike sneaker that's coming out before she even reaches the W.
Yes.
What does that say about where the business of women's basketball is headed?
Wow. Well, I mean, she's an anomaly as well. I mean, she is a very unique talent in which, Clutch Sports sought her out as the first, woman to be signed to Clutch Sports as an agency. So her brand, I think, kind of precedes her in a sense, and just her marketability. I mean, I feel like there are people like Sabrina Ionescu or, Angel Reese, and you see that these shoes, like the A1s, I mean, I still can't get my hands on a pair. But you see that these the women's shoe market has exploded in this last year, I'd say, and maybe a little bit before that. But that there is a market for it, and even like on the men's side, that they're buying into these women's shoes as well and investing into them. So that just shows you a lot. But I think like JuJu having a signature shoe before she touches the WNBA court is incredible. I think obviously LeBron having such an instrumental like force and behind him and fanfare and endorsing her as the next step, and having her to have the signature shoe under the like LeBron umbrella and to be able to curate that together, I feel like it's such a statement, right? Like it's something that we've never seen before. But let me be clear, let's give homage to the OG USC, Lisa Leslie.
Big ups, 100-point game, Morningside's own.
Converse. She had she was the first to have her own signature shoe.
And then Cheryl.
Yes.
Swoops.
Yes. So I mean, to me, and Trojan strong over here.
Right.
But anyways, fight on. But I think that it says so much about where the game is going, and to be able to see this like continue to expand with so many other women coming behind them to set the tone. But JuJu, I'm a huge fan of her game. I'm excited to see her get back on the court and bring USC a little bit back after this season. But what she's done and just for young women, and just to be like also a role model for so many young girls who love hoops, but just people in general. I mean, she's just carried herself with such a poise and demure that, man, not many people can teach that.
So along those lines, what does JuJu mean to the city of LA? Because, obviously we know what she can do on the court, and we've been behind her since high school. But what does her expansion into this star status for women's sport mean to the city?
I mean, it means everything, especially when you think about, as you know, I'm, covering the Olympics. And so when you think about LA 28 coming up, I've had a chance to speak to so many people who are like, I would love to represent my country. But to think about doing that for a home team, for the home crowd on home soil, that's a viable product for JuJu to be representing Team USA at LA 28. That idea alone is just groundbreaking. I think it's like something that you can only dream of as a kid. I mean, like what is the biggest pinnacle than winning a gold medal, like right out of college and right into the WNBA? And it kind of times up very well with kind of her trajectory and her get back. Obviously, that with the injuries, like obviously her recovery is paramount to that being the ultimate goal. But like seeing her on Team USA and getting some shots up was just in that uniform, it's just like something that you really look forward to. So I mean, the city will be on fire with JuJu coming back, and there's so like the whole hometown is behind her, of course. So yeah, it's awesome.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about storytelling, because you've worked across some major names in the sports industry, including your own brand. So what has it taught you about where sports storytelling is actually headed?
Wow, that's a really great question, Jill, and it's something that I haven't thought too much of as of recently because it's ever evolving. This landscape of storytelling has really changed. It's shifted since I even began, I think, in 2012 covering the Drew League. That it's shifted to this more, content creator based, there's two things I think have shifted and where it's going. So I'd say the first thing is that it's obviously more influencer and content creator based now. And then also there's more athlete empowerment storytelling. So a lot of guys, you see them have their own podcast, or people across the nation, everybody got a podcast. So you see a lot of athletes telling their own stories and other stories more regularly. But in terms of where I see it going, I think there is a certain level of journalism that is having a somewhat of a resurgence in terms of, like, you see columnists and you see people that are really doing the deep dives of storytelling, across multi-platforms though, and it doesn't look the same as it used to. It's not in a newspaper form. It's not necessarily always on linear television, but it's like the streamers. It's and it gives more people some people might not deserve to have a platform, but anyway, I digress. But it gives people an opportunity to be able to tell like stories that are unconventional, and that's like where my passion came in. Is like we hear the same 5 stories on ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever these major networks are, throughout the day because everybody's picking them up. But what are the stories that we haven't heard? Like for every JuJu, there might be a Jazzy, or there might be a Kiki Irifin, who also is a local to Los Angeles, who went to Harvard Westlake, who went to Stanford and ultimately to USC. So like there's so many other stories that like I think we are going to see more of a deeper dive, and I hope that we do, especially with the LA 28 coming up.
What do you think about the fact that these teams are now, college especially, but the NBA and NFL as well, are now becoming media companies, putting out not only films, but their own content? There's even an Instagram account called NBA Research and something. I can't remember what the last part of the handle is, but they deal in irreverent facts, like the hottest NBA wag or who eats the most popcorn on a team, in addition to regular content, just day-to-day on the short form, as well as film and TV. What are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I mean, diversify, and we want to humanize, like, the stories that we get the same X's and O's from the people that we know are the juggernauts in this space. Like, for every Adam Schefter, I want to hear something quirky and interesting that's different that we don't hear. I mean, some of it can be a little salacious a little bit at times, but, like, it's all in fun, and like I think that it pushes the envelope of what we imagine to be too serious of journalism at times. Like there are times in which we can have levity and we want to see people's fun sides. I like what Complex does. I like what some of these other, sites that come up and like you said, like, who's the rookie that is most likely to fill in the blank, to compete in wrestling. I don't know. But there are certain like fun stories that you get to see with the new kind of like journalism. What do you think about it? Because I'm curious. We come from like the old school of journalism. So
I very much like it. I like that they're taking risks. It amazes me because I think about back to my blog days when I had Jackson Stiletto Jill, and a lot of the things that they're doing are things that I would do back then, but would be shunned. So it's just watching the transformation take place. I do like
you
the
were
athlete
behind your
empowerment.
time. Before your time, for sure.
Again. Okay, so I have so many questions to ask, and we have such a short time with you. The Lakers are in third in the West right now. Do you see this as a real contender push? You've seen the development of the Luka and LeBron relationship. You're right there. Many of your videos of LeBron go viral. A lot of those videos you see of LeBron doing things, greeting his family in the tunnel, things like that.
Absolutely.
They came from LOJO Media.
Come on now. I mean, honestly, I've seen this story before last year. They made a late push, right before the playoffs to get to the 3rd seed, and then crumbled with, the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round and got bounced. So I do see them as a more viable contender. I do see there being more viability since Luka has had a full season. He's gotten comfortable with LA, with his teammates. I think LeBron and him have figured out kind of a 1-2 punch, in addition to my guy Hillbilly Kobe, aka Austin Reeves, who, if he can stay healthy and consistent, then, you know, the supporting cast will just have to play their role. Obviously, I think the X factors are DeAndre Ayton, making sure that he shows up alongside Jackson Hayes as the backup. Like, we need the center presence. I think Luka needs that lob threat. So if we can get like a nice structure, I think this is a great momentum starter, but the playoffs is a different animal, and they have the experience now to get through at least to the first round, but through the first round, whoever that may be, if the standings stay the same. The matchup against Houston, I can see the matchup, even if they slip to fourth, I can see them beating either Denver or Timberwolves, but obviously it's a toss-up and you never know. But of course, I'm going with the home team. Go Lakers.
Go Lakers. Okay, we are with LOJO Media now. Last question before you get out of here, and when we come forward, we'll get into the rest of the topics. You are covering the Olympics. What should the casual fan be looking out for right now?
Yeah, obviously there are so many great storylines that are leading up to, and of course a lot of this stuff is happening here. So we just had the Fanatics flag football with Tom Brady. It's going to be interesting to see the Olympic debut of flag football, what NFL players are going to be able to qualify, and looking at who actually can make it to the Team USA team, because there's a lot of guys on Team USA who have been representing flag football who are like, hey, what about me? I've been in 6 world championships, and now these NFL guys are going to come out. But then there's also, like, obviously track and field coming up with the World Championships. There's so many things leading up to the World Cup is going to be here before we know it next month. So, like, there's so many exciting things leading up to that are going to have real implications for LA 28. And so being able to whichever sport it is for you, being able to pick 1 or 2 players or athletes rather to follow along their Olympic journey will be very exciting. And of course, check it out on the Olympics.com. You can follow me there. I have an author page where you can see all of my stories as I'm closely following track and field, NBA, WNBA, just basketball as a whole, and of course flag football as well. So it's exciting. It's going to be fun.
When we come forward, we'll have more sports topics. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's only 10 bands and I got it, man. I was with 6 bands out of college. They were just getting bands, I'm exotic. And if you my real friend, keep it solid. First I was just playing, then I bought it. Then I had sugar hands with the pilot. Look at the bands, ooh, it got a body. I like the whip saying it's no mileage. Yeah, they like to talk on the neck when it's time to get checked. And ain't nobody bold, yeah. I'm really about my respect.
She said what she said. Women all day, all night. You're listening to The Takeover.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. As a Homeland Security funding bill is resisted by the House, airport delays continue due to TSA staffing shortages. Travelers at LaGuardia are facing long lines as unpaid agents call out or quit.
I mean, I'm a firm believer that the House and Senate shouldn't get paid. If there's one person in the government who's not getting paid, they shouldn't get paid.
President Trump says he'll sign an emergency order to start paying TSA workers even without Congress. The Trump administration is investigating 3 medical schools, Stanford, Ohio State, and UC San Diego, for alleged race-based discrimination. Officials are demanding years of admissions data, including race and test scores, along with DEI-related records, with a deadline of April 24th. And President Trump says Tiger Woods will not compete in the 2026 Masters despite recently returning to action. Woods, a 5-time Masters champion, just played in the TGL Finals earlier this month. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In Llano on the 138 heading eastbound before 185th Street, looks like a car fire is on that right shoulder, causing slow traffic from 165th Street. Now in Claremont on the 210 heading westbound before Town Ave, look out for a recliner blocking the carpool lane. And also watch for any sudden swerving or slowing when passing through. Moving to Pomona on the 60 heading eastbound at Phillips Ranch, looks like a crash on that right shoulder, causing some slowing.
Make this summer one to remember at MGM Grand Las Vegas. Lounge by the pool, catch world-class entertainment, indulge in unforgettable dining, and experience the energy only MGM can deliver. Plan your Vegas escape today at MGMRewards.com.
Is this the takeover? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
There is a dangerous attack on diversity in the National Football League coming out of the state of Florida. Florida Attorney General James Uckmeyer sent a letter to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell demanding that the league get rid of the Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule, established in 2003, requires NFL teams to interview minority candidates for head coach and executive positions. Uckmeyer claims the Rooney Rule is blatant race and sex discrimination and that hiring should be based only on merit. Uckmeyer is threatening the NFL with a civil rights lawsuit if the league does not comply with his demand. Uckmeyer needs to know that the Rooney Rule was implemented because blatant race and sex discrimination was preventing qualified minority candidates from getting top-level jobs in the NFL. Yes, the Rooney Rule should be modified, but it does not need to be abolished because somebody thinks it's unfair to white people. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All the women who independent, throw your hands up at me.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable. All month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we're your girls. Won't you know that we love you?
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe Sports Takeover on KBLA Talk 1580 in celebration of Women's History Month. And listen, this total takeover continues all night long. We've got some great hosts to take us the rest of the way tonight, including Tasha Thomas, Angelique Francis, Dr. Melina Abdullah, and a special rebroadcast later of our annual State of Black Women in LA Symposium, moderated by Dominique Duprima. It was recorded live earlier this morning at Doolin's. And listen, that was an amazing hour that we had prior to me with Dr. Shalonda Crawford and Faith Evans. They were playing my song, You Gets No Love. Dr. Shalonda had my same sentiments. I know it's not too ghetto. I was rocking out to that too. Shout out to that. And listen, we are not done yet, because coming up, get into the vibes.
I never wanted to be like every other child abandoning.
Coming up at 7 p.m., Guapale will be live in studio as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of her classic debut album, Closer. This is a song from her childhood drama. Come on now, you know you were listening to that Closer album. So it's going to be a great night as we continue our celebration of Women's History Month with the voices of women all day, all night on KBLA Talk 1580. All right, let's get into these sports topics, okay? All right, so we're going to talk a little bit. I know we did a little bit on the end of the conversation, but we got to talk a little bit about the Lakers. We are so close to the playoffs, right? The Lakers, as I mentioned, are third in the West, 9 games left, and the pressure is loud, okay? Okay. Luka has been in the purple and gold for quite some time now, right? And LeBron is done adjusting on the fly. So it's no longer about novelty. It's about the real work and the chemistry that they've put together. And it's also about whether this group is actually rounding into playoff form as a team that we can trust, or will they implode again like they did last season with the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round. As Lauren mentioned, it's a matchup thing, but if they hold steady and no drops, no, we don't want the play-in again, okay? I just want to put that out there, right? They're third behind OKC and San Antonio, right? Just ahead of Denver and Minnesota. Denver hasn't really been looking like the Denver of years past. Feels like, and I might be wrong, feels like that era might be done for them. Doesn't mean that they're not a good team. I just don't know if they're still technically a championship team. That remains to be seen. The remaining slate on the West, the remaining Western Conference between OKC, San Antonio, Denver, Minnesota, the Warriors, nothing. Suns and Jazz, nothing. Listen, it's been an interesting season. One thing that I can say personally, and we touched on this a little bit, is I feel like the NBA is not in trouble, but they're in an interesting sort of positioning. They are talking expansion, right? We know that they got the approval. They're planning to add 2 teams, one in Las Vegas, one in Seattle. Long time whispers about those 2 locations. But I saw a podcast with, I think it was Tracy McGrady. He and Vince Carter have their Cousins podcast. And they were talking about the expansion. And Tracy McGrady mentioned something that a lot of people are whispering about. Is there enough talent to dilute across 32 teams, right? Remember, we were heavily into our big 3 era at one point in time. We've kind of moved out of that. The game has kind of dictated that you can have a big 2 and a solid 3 and maybe get over. If you think about the last few champions, they not necessarily, I guess OKC had their own kind of version of a big 3, but I don't really consider it a big 3 in the way that we did in the past, where these were people that could individually be the superstar on their own team. Andy, what? You disagree with
I don't
me?
even know if I should be talking on this women's takeover.
I'm inviting you into the conversation. A man that is supporting women
That's right.
is a part of the thing.
Shout out to the ladies. Shout out to the ladies. OKC, I will say, does have a big three. Outside of SGA, Jalen Williams definitely could be the number one guy. And Chet Holmgren could definitely be the number one guy. Let's not forget, Chet Holmgren was number 2 overall draft pick.
He was, but hasn't Chet been up? Like, I feel like he's very streaky.
Yeah, he's streaky, but I mean, he was, one of the intricate pieces for
them
winning the title.
He was. I mean, I'm not saying he's not one of the intricate pieces, but when I'm talking traditional big three, I'm thinking Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and KG. I'm thinking LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh, right? I'm thinking our failed attempts here with Kobe, Dwight, and Steve Nash, right?
Wow, you giving that a big three? I wouldn't
it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't even give that a big three.
But what I'm talking about, like, major things like that. And again, I'm not shading what is going on in OKC. Obviously, they got a title. They, rolling, and they are a solid team, but I feel like they're more of a traditional team than what I have deemed over the past couple of years as a big three.
I'll give you that. They have a whole bunch of players that look like rejects, so to speak. I think even Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I mean.
He was a Clipper.
He was a Clipper, and I'm sure the Clippers organization is, like, shooting themselves in the foot for, getting rid of him so they can go ahead and get Paul George or whatnot. But I think people look at SGA somewhat. I mean, before he won his championship and the MVP, they definitely overlooked him as a player. They didn't look at him as the guy. So he definitely proved himself last year, and I think that narrative has definitely changed. But I do look at the OKC squad, low-key, like a college team. After every game that they win, when they're getting interviewed, you see all of them together, huddled up together and whatnot, in support of each other. So, yeah, they might not look like the big three of the past. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 dominant star players, but they're
their own version
They're
of
their
it.
own version, and their game says otherwise.
But I do think in Tracy's raising an interesting point, because I think that what is different with this new era of players, no shade, no tea to anybody that is not quite professional yet, I think that one, they've played too many games, right, with the AAU schedule and all of these things like that. That's why, remember, that we had that streak of time where there was a lot of Achilles injuries and things of that nature. And I think that directly contributes to the amount of games that they play before they even step on a pro court, right? The second to that is that the passion is sort of different for players now, right? A little bit.
Legacy players, that's why.
They get their money early. We're not going to touch that.
No, let's touch it because
we have talked about that it is a different look for the players that we see going to the league now. It is not your inner city players that we used to hear about, the same stories of, those players coming up through rough and tumble. A lot of these players are different in that maybe they had a parent that played professionally. A lot of them are coming from private school. It's not a public school thing anymore. Not saying that has to do with the toughness on court. It's just about the environment where they come from. And with NIL added into the mix, They're getting their payday much earlier, some even in high school. So the draw to the NBA, yes, it's the NBA, but it's different. It's not the same because they're already getting money and the treatment with Instagram and things like that. So when the player pool becomes even more diluted, of course, there are going to be some people that aren't going to be protected in that expansion draft. I'm just wondering, the NBA already kind of has an issue right now because they're so spread out on various channels. People are still trying to find the rhythm to catch up with the games, and NFL is surging. I just think the NBA needs to be cautious and pay attention. I'm not mad at expansion.
Let me go ahead and say this one more time. The consumer, you have a lot of responsibility on your hands. You feel me? That excuse about we don't know where to find games, to me, it's an excuse. We have NBA.com. You have the NBA app. Go to the schedule. They will give you a list of what platforms certain game is going to be played on.
But we're lazy, Andy. We don't want to do that much work.
This is why we're in the state that we're in right now. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll see what happens with that. But as far as the Lakers, right, we'll see if this current streak continues. The aftermath of one of the biggest trades in history. The story is still forming. Andy.
The only two teams that I'm worried about is OKC and Denver.
You are worried about Denver?
Of course I'm worried about Denver.
Because
First
they are Achilles' heel. They do seem to know how to play us
every time,
differently. Yeah.
Especially Jamal Murray.
They do know our number. Jamal Murray does get it off. Yeah. He does get
San
it
Antonio,
off.
I'm not worried about them. They some youngsters. I like them, but I'm not worried about them. But OKC and Denver are the only teams that I'm worried about in the West.
All right. Well, listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into a little off-the-court topics about Paul Pierce, Tiger Woods, and Von Miller. That one's positive. All that and more, you're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
The women have the mic, and they're not giving it back. It's a total takeover all day, all night. KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Texting happy birthday is lazy, and sorry for your loss deserves more than a card from aisle 7. Say it right with Nappy Expressions greeting cards filled with faith, humor, and heart. Visit nappyexpressions.com. That's NAPPYXPRESSIONZ.com.
Nappy Expressions is proud to sponsor the Women's History Month Total Takeover, Friday, March 27th, amplifying the voices of women all day, all night, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Heading out of town this spring? Metro makes getting to LAX easier than ever. Just take the C or K train lines to the new LAX Metro Transit Center. Then catch a free shuttle straight to your terminal. Easy, affordable, stress-free. Travel smart. Go Metro.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. 10 Toes In serves as a mentorship and domestic violence prevention program. They support, educate, and empower couples during and after incarceration. They assist male returning citizens to re-enter society successfully and to help them maintain a healthy relationship with their romantic partner. They offer a mentorship support group for formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In teaches its Intimate Relationships 101 curriculum at male prisons throughout the state of California. They host sister support group meetings for women who are intimately involved with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To access their services or make a donation, please visit them online at 10toesin.org or find them on Facebook or Instagram. They are healing lives through relationships. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. All right, let's run through these off the court, off the field, off the clock sports stories for the night. Really quickly, Tiger Woods was reportedly arrested Friday, which is today. In Florida, authorities said he showed signs of impairment while driving. He passed a breathalyzer, refused a urine test, and was charged with a DUI and property damage and refusal to submit to a lawful test, right? This also comes after the accident that he had in Palos Verdes not too long ago, and then a 2017, DUI case, and his long injury history. Yeah, it's a little less celebrity mess, a little more tragic decline, though not, because we know if you golf, Sunday Red has gotten the people going. Tiger Woods left his corporate partnership with Nike, who was with him from the beginning, and struck out on his own, and the Sunday Red is doing what it does, right? Sometimes the saddest things in sports is not the fall. It's everybody pretending the body isn't already sending the memo. So, listen, I don't know what's going on. Good luck, Tiger, with all of that. All right, now let's get to Paul Pierce really quickly. We know Paul Pierce has a popular podcast that, he gets into a lot of topics. And one of his familiar topics that he often discusses are relationships, right? And in these conversations, he gives his take on all of the things that are going on currently with relationships, what's wrong with them, what's right, why 30-year-old women are washed up and need to just let it go. Well, your guy Pierce, he has something else to be worried about. Apparently, there's a woman, her name is Princess Santiago, and she is saying Paul is the father of her newborn child. She is requesting $30,000 a month in child support until the case moves forward and for him to take the paternity test. Paul, you were in the league for so very long, and you have so many opinions. You didn't see this one coming? We'll see what develops with that. Shout out to him. And shout out to him. Well, yeah, shout out to Paul, because he is the truth. I just think that he makes questionable decisions when it comes to dating. Apparently. I'm just basing that off of what he says on The Truth After Dark. All right. And I wanted to end on a positive note, of course, because, I had to drop a little mess in the mix. So Von Miller, former NFL star, played for the Denver Broncos for quite a bit of time, defensive star. In a recent interview, he shared what his plan B was as far as career goes and how that has turned into his plan A and what it's doing for him. I thought it's an important message. We often talk about athletes going broke, mismanaging their money, the mistakes that they made. Hey, we just talked about two in a little particular pickles currently. But this story is the opposite of that. And Von has had his own challenges outside of the game. And so I thought this was important to raise this up as much as we do the other type of stories. So let's roll it.
So what's your biggest financial flex?
I don't have to say my chicken farm. We got contracts all over the state of Texas.
How many chickens have you sold so far?
We average about 35,000 a week. Got contracts at HEB, Natural Grocer, Whole Foods.
How did you get into that?
Man, I took an easy class in college. Poultry science.
So you learned it from college, from Texas A&M?
Texas A&M, yep.
No
took
way.
an easy class in college and made it my major, and now it start out, to be my plan B. Now it might be my plan A.
So that was a quick note. Now, he graduated from Texas A&M. And if you don't know what the A is for in Texas A&M, it's agriculture, right? And something he thought was just easy. Maybe that's one of those classes that they shove the football players to just try and push them through, because sometimes colleges do that. But now it's a real career opportunity, and it's something that he loves. 35,000 fresh chickens going to markets like Whole Foods, etc. every week. That's a business plan, and shout out to him for making it happen. Now listen, there's been a lot of commentary in the chat, so I'm going to read you a few of these comments because they always have a lot to say. The VIPs are big ups. So DJ Black 909, talking about NBA expansion, says Seattle, yes, but Vegas, heck no. Las Vegas is a tourist town. No one would go there for the NBA, and the locals wouldn't care for a second team. I would rather give it to Kansas City or St. Louis. DJ Black 909, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Vegas has already proved that it is very much a sports town. Are you forgetting first it was with the NHL, with the Knights. Then it was the WNBA Las Vegas Aces that really put it down. And now there's football, baseball is coming. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a soccer franchise coming there soon. People enjoy sports, and Vegas has enough hotels for it. And yes, the gambling is there, but this is something to do too. So I'm excited about it. I saw a comment about JuJu that I wanted to read. Glorilla8 says, the thing is, JuJu is following too many good guards. Sarah Strong is moving interest in the game back to the bigs. Caitlin did it for guards. Sarah will be the first since Candace arrives. Sarah is a joker. All right, well, that's interesting. I still think, though, JuJu has a certain amount of momentum, right? And we know momentum can carry you. If you look at, say, Angel Reese, right, people have questioned, as far as skill count, if she matches up to Caitlin. We've had that conversation quite a bit, right? We know she's a rebounding machine, but she still has that zhuzh, that thing. And hopefully if JuJu returns from injury and can make her way back where she was pre-injury levels, I think the sky's the limit for her, guard or not, even in a crowded guard market, because she has that thing. All right, guys, listen, thank you for locking in on this special Friday edition of the Jill Munroe Show, Sports Style. I'll be back on Monday with more trending topics and headlines for you. If you miss me in the meantime, hit me up on YouTube. And next week, your Out of Bounds will be returning. But the ladies have held it down. Stay tuned, because coming up, we got Guapale and Tasha in the building. You don't want to miss that.
I can be your woman, 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 woman. What you need? She give 10 for come here, pop up, plant your seed. She can grow right from her womb or family. Provide loving, overlooked and unappreciated. You see, you can reciprocate. I got delicious taste. You need a woman's touch in your place. Just protect her and keep her safe. Baby, worship my hips and waist. So feminine with grace. I touch your soul when you hear me say, boy, let me be your woman. Let me be your woman.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A House Ethics panel has found that Black South Florida Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick committed 25 violations. Her attorney argued that heavy media coverage could impact a future jury.
In today's society, without pointing fingers